Hi, and welcome to Real Trail Talk. I am Donovan D'Souza from The Long Ways Better.
And I'm Mark Pybus from The Life of Pi. Welcome to episode 102. We have our favourite episode for the year, not that we do many these days, but it's the 2025 year in review.
A bit late, but we had other things we needed to record.
Yes,
so.
It's been a busy 2026 so far.
Yeah.
So we're recording this mid-March. Some of the 2026 plans might be a bit outdated or updated.
Yeah, updated is probably better.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also think this might be one of the shortest one of these we've ever done because I don't know about you, but it wasn't a particularly epic year hiking-wise.
It wasn't too bad, but I didn't do my usual end-of-year things, which normally kind of bleeds into the next episode. So the 2027 one might be a bit dull. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we may as well start then because you had an adventure-packed start to 2026. You were overseas.
Yeah, so over the Christmas New Year period, I was doing the Traverse Sabine, so I was on the Traverse Sabine when it was 2026. And then after that, I did the Greenstone Caples back-to-back. So Traverse Sabine, pretty epic. Probably the biggest ascent. Well, no, not probably. Definitely the biggest ascent day I did ever in one day.
Yeah.
Going up to Lake Angeles. And that was, unbelievably excellent. And then going down. And then Greenstone Caples was just a wonderful holiday because it was like one of the easiest hikes I've done because it's in a valley.
Yeah.
The pass that it goes over was the easiest one I've ever done. And every day I would finish by midday, so just had an afternoon nap.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And is that the one you did without Peter and Justin?
Yeah, that's right. So I did Greenstone Caples after them, and they went their own way. So then the fellowship went their own way, and we did Traverse Sabine together. And probably in hindsight, the one that less experienced people should do is Greenstone Caples.
I was going to ask, because the 2024 year in review, we talked about the multi-day we did on the bib, or the overnight on the bib, and how Justin couldn't join and was probably lacking in his training. So how did he go on the Traverse Sabine?
Yeah, so they didn't do the Angelus day because they were like, nah, that's way too difficult. And a month or two after Justin got back, he was walking with his kid and his knee just gave way.
Ouch.
So it probably was for the best he didn't. He was really lucky that none of that happened while he was out there. So, yeah. I do want to go do a hike with him again one day, but we'll probably do something a bit easier.
Yeah. And what was it like during, because that's obviously peak season for New Zealand. How was it in terms of crowds and numbers and everything?
Full on. So particularly Traverse Sabine is on the Te Araroa, and it's one of the most popular parts of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So because of that, we just had, some of the huts, there were just huge numbers coming through. And I think that the infrastructure is maybe not quite there for the amount of people that are passing through. So Blue Lake Hut, which I did as a side trip, was it's a bit of a logjam because if the weather's really bad, you can't go over the next pass. So that was all packed out, and it was New Year's Eve. And the rangers basically were out in force because they were like, if this is a day where, because Blue Lake is the most pristine lake in the world, the most clear water, they're like, people are going to be jumping in that water, so we need to be there to police it.
Yeah.
But it goes to show how their, Parks and Wildlife equivalent really cares about looking after nature.
Yeah. Yeah, because neighbour Steve and his partner just got back from New Zealand as well, and they were saying they had challenges as well with the Te Araroa walkers, is they just don't book the huts.
That's right, yeah.
So you just get massive numbers, and then if the rangers aren't there to kind of sort stuff out, you have to get quite confrontational if someone's in your bed that you've booked months in advance.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a bit because there's a lot of Americans or people who do the US trails, there's a bit of the bravado, and that was a little bit off-putting, and also they get a bit cliquey. Like you're a Travis Sabine hiker, where the Tiaroa, where the scenesters. Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I don't like to be negative. Like you see, like the clips from people doing the US trails, and it's all very, I'm weird and out in the bush and the wild, and I've got my ultralight stuff, and look at how random and fun I am.
Yeah.
It's Maybe I'm just becoming grumpy.
Well, we did say that in the 100th episode that you have become increasingly grumpy, and I've kind of mellowed out.
Yeah. Maybe you'll go full on. You'll start doing the Pacific Crest Trail and something in your 50s. Be like a real full-on hippie.
I don't think so. I don't think I have the interest in doing those long trails, if I'm honest. So, yeah. So what did you do over the summer?
Because I'm like my spreadsheets and I color code everything, I have two things in summer, and they're both trail runs, which is unusual for me. So, Melina, who runs the Perth Trail Series, we've gotten quite close in the last kind of 18 months. She lives just around the corner, so we spend a lot of time together, and she invited me out for a couple of them, and I dusted off my lungs. They were not in the best shape, and I struggled up the hills of Wally Grunter in Wollonga National Park.
Yeah.
And then did Sly Fox out at Jarrahdale. So, I mean, it's good to get out and about at times when I'm not usually doing stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just... I'm a trail runner, but I'm just out of practice and not very fit, which doesn't make it enjoyable. But the events are fun, and you get to see lots of happy people out there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, not much. What did you get up to when you came back from New Zealand?
Not a lot. So on the last day of Travis Sabine, or actually second last day, I had this weird foot pain, and I couldn't quite work it out. And then the next day I was fine, and I marched out there so quickly. I got there before the first bus came. I'd booked for the second bus to give me time, and everyone there was like, "Whoa, you made it here so quickly, and we were not expecting that based on how your foot was the day before." I'm like, "Yeah, it's all good." And then when I got back, I just had this weird foot pain, and I couldn't it was as if my toes were locked upright. And I couldn't walk properly for ages, so I basically just had to take a bit of a break. I did a lot of cycling, as I do. I was just, I generally every summer I just do a lot of night riding. So I just did the same thing because I just couldn't walk really. So that's basically what I did when I came back.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what I did as well. I don't mark it down, but I would have done a lot of cycling in Jan and Feb. Based on my autumn, which starts off with the Railway Reserves Heritage Trail and then out to Chidlow on the mountain bike. So I would have had to be pretty fit to do that. That was with Melina as well. She's like, let's get out and do some cool stuff. So did that, and then bit of Kingdom of Pi maintenance. Little bit hopeful that stuff might happen in 2025, but spoiler alert, nothing's happened in 2025 other than... a dieback survey went through and is probably going to expire next month without being actioned. So that's a bit heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then, Mundaring to Baker's Hill on the Kep track with Melina as well. That was
on foot or?
No, on the mountain bike.
Yeah, okay. I was like, whoa.
No way am I doing that on foot.
Because the thing is, with Melina, I could imagine that, we could run that,
I mean, it's, what's that, 83.6 kilometres, so that would have been a fair run for her.
Yeah, but you could do it as a 2-dayer or something,
No, that was fun, but she was on her e-bike, which she likes to sing on the hills about climbing, which is really annoying when I'm on my acoustic bike. She's like, I think she has a Miley song where it's like, climb, climb, climb. I'm like, can you not?
Yep.
I got my revenge later in the year. We went for a ride just out up the coast, and her battery ran out. And she was struggling.
That is like, yeah, because while, yes, you can ride, it's so much worse.
Yep. So riding up Marmion in East Fremantle, I'm just like, climb. She
Oh.
I got my revenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of mountain biking, which is, it's good because the Railway Reserve's Heritage Trail and the Kep Track is kind of very solid and firm, unlike the Mundabiddy sections around the Perth Hills. So you can go out in like late summer, early autumn and not be too bad.
Yep.
Yeah. How was the start of your autumn?
So again, my foot wasn't great, so I didn't do a lot. But I did do one awesome thing which I had lined up. Was I was in Tassie for work, and I went and did the Tarn Shelf circuit as an overnighter.
Nice.
During the turning of the Vegas as well.
Yeah.
Probably about a week or two later than like the optimal. But, as someone who doesn't live in Tasmania, you take what you get, right? And the only thing I'd say that was negative about it was election night, and I am absolutely,
yes.
yeah. I love watching the elections. It's my Super Bowl. So I was like going up to the hill trying to get signal. But otherwise, it was outstanding. It was like really beautiful. The Tarn Shelf is, I think, one of the best, circuit walks, like day circuit walks. I camped overnight at the Twilight Tarn. Is it Twilight Tarn?
Yeah, Twilight Tarn.
Yeah,
The
Twilight
old
Tarn.
hut.
Yeah, which I camped outside the hut because you're not allowed to stay in it.
I would not want to stay in that.
No,
hut.
it's super gross
And creepy and dark, and no thanks.
Yeah, so I did prepare my food in there, and then I left my sunnies there.
Oh no!
And then luckily I met some other hikers, and I was like, if you find them, let me know, and I'll pay you to post them back to me, and they did, so that was really good.
Yeah.
And then when I got into phone reception range, I had like 20 messages about the election.
I mean, you didn't really miss much anyway.
No.
Apart from Peter Dutton getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, I would have enjoyed it because I always laugh at the the Schadenfreude of a landslide victory. So
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Green's like final federal election, it was a bit of a fizzler. He was just basically like, yep, it's all gone wrong for the Liberal.
Yeah, it's not a nail biter. The nail biters are
So what do we talk about for the next 3 hours? Because it looks like it's decided already.
Yeah. So that was probably my major autumn one, because we didn't normally we go away like around Easter, but we didn't this year because we did the garden extensions. So for that reason, we just didn't, Yeah.
Speaking of Easter, I have a whole load of hikes that I did on Kangaroo Island.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which was not the best trip for a number of reasons. The first being Kit, my dog, had been having a few seizures, and because he'd be getting quite old, we weren't quite sure what was going on.
Yep.
And so he was booked in for a scan the day we were meant to leave. And we thought, we'll drop him off in the morning, it'll be done, we'll get the results, and we'll decide what we want to do. And it wasn't until half an hour before we were meant to leave for the airport that we got to go in and pick him up and get the results and everything. And they're like, he has a massive tumour on his liver. And we're like, damn, like that's like, it could be a month, it could be 6 months, we don't know. And that was just a super, super tough decision. I ended up picking him up and basically bawling my eyes out just before we left. But in the end we decided we've got a dog sitter who we trust and we know, and we can always come back if we need. So end up going to Kangaroo Island. And that was about the time when the algal bloom stuff was starting to really show up on Kangaroo Island. So you'd go for a walk on a beach and there'd just be dead everything. Like, we found seals. We found a possum like washed up against the rocks. It was bright blue and just really like confronting. Whole load of fish. It was, a bit sad. And because the bushfires had ravaged that island quite severely, everything kind of was just in that regrowth stage, so it wasn't like the idyllic Kangaroo Island that you see in the photos. So we tried to make the most of it, but it was a bit sad being there and being away from Kit.
Did you at least get to go to Remarkable Rocks?
We did, but because it was around Easter time, it's just so busy, and you just get a million tourists, and like it's worth the trip to go out there.
Yeah.
I did drag everyone out to do a few hikes, and there are some good ones. One of the best ones was Snake Lagoon, which is part of the Kangaroo Island Wilderness Trail. So you start basically just the end of a gravel road and hike through this amazing like jagged rock kind of gully out to the ocean. But then when we got to the ocean, like you can see the foam, and we're just like, we're not sure that we're meant to be like touching the foam because it could be toxic. And, but that was a good one. I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, but Cape Ducody, which is Admiral's Arch, and where all the seals, sea lions congregate. That was pretty cool. And then, just a few hikes and getting out and about. It was mainly just for a bit of relaxation.
Yeah.
We stayed in Vivone Bay, which is a really beautiful spot, but it was just it was actually very cold and rainy while we were there, which I don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where sometimes holidays aren't the most enjoyable things if you've got other stuff going on in your life.
Understand, yeah.
Yeah. And then that kind of, when we got home, it was just more about like spending time with Kit. So the rest of the year I didn't really do anything. I think I had one trip where I was away from home, but it was very much staying home, spending as much time with Kit and making sure his life was as good as it could be.
Yeah, understand. And, I think you gave him a great life, So,
yeah. I mean, it was, He was a lucky boy, but because of like everything that happened with COVID and me working from home a lot, he just became very attached to me.
Yeah.
And he was basically my shadow. It's like I would leave the house, Karis would still be there, and he would be on the bed like howling for me. I'm like, mate, how do you think Karis feels about that? But yeah, he's just... We got a good 10 years with him, and yeah. I'll talk about later when that happens. But yeah, end of autumn was just getting into the thick end of writing the Perth Hills book, which hopefully by the time this episode comes out won't be too far away from being released publicly.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So I spent a lot of time in the Perth Hills autumn, winter and spring, which was nice because I always talk about on the podcast about I'm going to enjoy favourites and get out to see everything, and I actually got to do that this year. Yeah, but before we get into that, I think you had some adventures before then, around winter time.
Yeah, so in winter, in the lead up, we did a bit of training. So Alyssa hadn't done a multi-day for many years. And we had like a perfect one for people who haven't done, like it's my first multi-day.
Yeah.
And for someone who's just getting back into it. And that was the Maramarang South Coast walk.
Yeah.
So that's in the south of Sydney, in the sort of South Coast area there. That was really fantastic. So in the lead up, we did a lot of training hikes, me carrying Miles. Miles, we've noticed, like, he wants to walk more, which is great.
Yeah.
The curse of carrying is how heavy he is.
Yeah.
The bit that he likes to walk now means that I'm carrying like nearly nothing when that's happening. So, so we did that walk, and that's one of the New South Wales great walks that they've sort of been putting together in the last decade.
Yeah.
And it was super solid. For coming from Western Australia, where I think we can be rightly smug that our beaches are fantastic.
Yeah.
It is nice to see a very different coastal scenery. So, we often see spotted gums as, very commonly planted council trees.
Yeah.
And this is like where they're from.
Yeah.
So it was great to actually see forests of actually the spotted gums where they're actually meant to be.
Yeah.
And also the coastline there is a lot of like rocky shelves and sandstone, so it's quite different to here. A bit more like I always think like the coastline there is almost more like Kalbarri, except if Kalbarri wasn't red. Like it's that very kind of similar layered rock, sandstone rock. So yeah, it was a really good walk. And the best thing about it was, and I mentioned it in the last podcast, was that you get to stay in these sort of like holiday park cabins, and it makes it just really easy to do because you don't have to have a tent. The only day where we had to carry a lot of stuff was the second day, and where the second day you had to carry from the first lot of accommodation to the second. So that was the only day that was difficult for Alyssa in terms of carrying the gear because I carried Miles and and because of that, it's, I think, a great one for someone who's maybe anxious about getting back into hiking as Alyssa was with the multi-day, or someone who just hasn't done it before. So, yeah, great walk. I will release the videos to them at some stage. I've just been... I'll talk about it later, but I've been really struggled with motivation with getting these videos edited. Yeah. But, even if I don't, it's a really good walk. I recommend it.
Well, you've mentioned before it's not a multi-day unless Alyssa cries. Did she get back into true form, or did she enjoy herself this time?
I don't know if she did. I'm sure she did. But it actually, for a walk that's actually a very beginnery kind of walk, there's also adventurous stuff. Like we had to cross a river, and it's not like in WA where in most cases it's like a knee-deep wade. This is like a proper wade. And the last day was quite long, and I think she was pretty fed up with the day, as was I. But I can't remember if she cried, if I'm honest. So, and then after that, we went up to the Blue Mountains, and we were going to do the Grand Clifftop Walk, which is another one of these great walks that New South Wales have put together. The only problem was I think we pushed Miles too much by the stage, and also he saw a lot of like bare cliffs because it's even in spite of it being a beginnery kind of walk, it's the cliffs don't have railings. It's just like you're walking along this narrow cutting along the cliffs, and it was super windy as well. So he was horrified. And after like maybe 7Ks in, we were like, nah, we're gonna have to call it. So I do want to go back and do it. Unfortunately, I didn't pack a alternate plan. So had I thought about it, I would have packed like my tent and stuff so I could have done a more hardcore hike. But it didn't end up being. But we did do the Grand Canyon walk again, which is, in a lot of ways, that was kind of the walk that made me think of actually doing the long ways better, because before that we always went on holidays to cities, and that was the first time we really went to like
the nature.
Nature. Other than of course, while in WA, we always did Southwest holidays, but it never occurred to me before to go to New South Wales and not stay in Sydney, or go to Melbourne and not stay in Melbourne. So it was nice to revisit it with Miles. And there's a book that we read him as a kid called Let's Go to the Bush, and it's set in the Grand Canyon, so it was cool to take him to that. So that was a good winter. I enjoyed that. What did you get up to?
A bit of a mixed start to winter. So I did do a lot. Trying to, especially while Kit was still alive, was trying to get all the dog-friendly walks in the Perth Hills done, and then also drag out our friends as well. So we did Georgeston Park, which is always a nice walk. I always underrate that walk, just in terms of, like, the start's not fantastic, but they're cleaning that up a little bit with the land care project.
And Harry Potter.
We'll see about that. The locals are not happy. Rightly so as well. It's not being well communicated. Bit of maintenance. Whistlepipe Gully, we did that with friends as well. That's always a good one, and especially after the rains have hit. I took my eldest niece out. We were meant to do an overnight walk, so I did. I like Elizabeth's Bookshop in Fremantle has blind date with a book where they give you like a rough outline. So I did that with her, kind of blind date with a hike. I gave her lots of options. And it came to the weekend and it was just horrible, horrible weather. And I'm like, this is not going to be fun if I drag you out to do an overnighter. So cancelled the overnight plans, and I just booked an Airbnb cabin just outside of Bridgetown. So I thought, if the weather's not great, we can play games or whatever. But we ended up doing the Warren River Loop Trail, which it did rain a little bit, but not too much. And then the Bridgetown Jarrah Park the next day.
I reckon the Warren River Loop's a nice one in the rain.
Yeah, and saw lots of helmet orchids, which I'd never seen before. They were very spectacular. Like, you get to the base of a big carry tree and there'd be cool fungi and then just a massive helmet orchids.
Yeah.
So it was fun to see, and that's always a nice trail to do. And then August came around, and so with my books, I'd always wanted to do tree planting. And I always thought I'd do that myself, to try and contact a place. And I had Crooked Brook Forest in Boyanup as a place I'd want to do it. And I contacted them and just heard crickets. I thought there's plenty of land out there that needs some revegetation. And then right around when I was trying to do that, a lady emailed me from a company or a not-for-profit called Carbon Positive Australia, saying, would you like to donate money from your book sales to our cause? And I'm like, yes, I would. But I've got one condition, is I want to join you on one of your planting days. So she's like, oh, we don't normally do this, but I'll let you know in the future. And so one came up around Many Peaks near Albany, and I was like, yes, I would like to do that. So in August, I went down and joined the crew there, and we actually still catch up. We saw them last night, and we play games, and it's just a really fun company, and they do amazing work. So they don't take money off mining companies, or it's not anything to do with greenwashing. They just contact landholders and basically revegetate the land.
How very un-Western Australian of them.
I know. And they are a West Australian company, but they do work all over Australia. So they've recently rebranded into Revegetate Australia, which is more kind of in line with what they want to do. So that was fun. Didn't realise the property was going to be as spectacular as it was. Got views over the ocean. We could see Mount Many Peaks, which is kind of like the forbidden fruit of WA hiking. And it was just a really fun weekend. And as part of that, I went down and did the Cranbrook Wildflower Walk, hoping there'd be some early season orchids, and there was.
Nice.
And then the Kanga Walk, which isn't advertised really at all, but that goes from Bluff Knoll Cafe and kind of does a loop either side of Chester Pass Road.
You brought that up recently, didn't you?
Yeah. And it's just, like, I think one of our first episodes, we talked about
walks at the bottom.
Walks around the Stirling Range where you just walk on flat land and can see the mountains. I was like, this is kind of what I wanted, and it's existed all this time.
Yeah.
So that was good fun. But yeah, that was kind of the only trip I really took away from home that was an overnighter, and then it was just filled with the rest of August was all Perth hikes. So Bells Rapids, FR Berry Reserve, Noble Falls, Lake Leschenaultia, Two Mountains, Pierce Gully, like just all the bangers. Getting new photos and reminding myself the lefts and the rights so I could translate that into a guidebook.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, it's just good to reconnect with Perth as well. And especially, it's hard these days trying to visit some of those trails and not get the overcrowded experience.
Yeah.
So it took a few days off work, like midweek, to do like Bells Rapids. Like that on a weekend is just a bit of a nightmare.
There was one day Alyssa went out and I went out to Kitty's Gorge, and we just turned back and did something else because it was just so frustratingly busy.
Which, I mean, it's a sign which DBCA and Sport and Rec just don't recognise. Participation is not the problem. Like, we just need more trails.
Yeah.
And it's just sad that we're not getting them at all. But yeah. How was the rest of your winter?
I think we did a lot of just as you say, just repeating things. So we did a lot of the classics. Like we found that the shorter, the little eagle view is actually a perfect one to do with Miles, so you can get out for a bit. And we always try to tack on a bit of time at the end at the creek to play in near the visitor center. Well, the soon to be built visitor center. So that's always good fun. And we did a few of the other sort of the classics, do a bit of the bib, do the common popular ones like Kitty's Gorge, Whistlepipe Gully, etc. So yeah, that's basically what we did in winter. Did a lot of riding with Miles. Miles, I think, probably, I feel like there's been a transition in what he enjoys, and he doesn't enjoy being carried as much in the backpack as he used to.
Yeah.
But he loves being on the bike, so we just do a lot more bike riding as a result.
Because you have him in front of you on the bike, don't you?
Yeah.
Rather than stuck behind, not being able to see anything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a bit like a Grogu and Mando kind of thing.
How long do you have left before he kind of grows a bit too tall and is bashing you in the chin with his helmet?
So there's a seat change that will probably happen later this year, where he's got like a proper seat at the moment, and then it will change to like a bike seat.
Yeah.
And that will sort of sit on there. It's called like the shotgun. And then from there, it's probably the trailer, not the trailer, but when it becomes like a tandem bike and they can sit behind and it attaches to the seat post. Yeah. So that will be the next thing. And then the final stage would be that we get a cargo bike that has the seat at the back.
Yeah.
So that's the journey that we'll be on, I think.
Yeah. My friend from basketball's just got a cargo e-bike. And I'm like, I wouldn't have picked him for the guy who would do it, but he loves it. Like, taking his kids to sport, he's like, I don't have to park anywhere. I can just ride straight up. It's amazing.
And I mean, I dropped Miles off at school, and with the e-bike, it's actually because there's like a modal filter where it's like a footpath or a bike path, and no cars can go through. So it's actually faster for me to cycle to his school.
Yeah.
And I have to worry about parking. It's wonderful.
The drop-off pickup zones that always seem to be a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah. And I kind of feel a bit cool as well. Like, look at all you people driving your cars.
Yeah.
But anyway, but that's all by and by.
Yeah. Spring rolled around. The first thing I did in spring was my first ever Rogaine.
Oh, really?
So neighbour Steve was like, do you want to do a Rogaine? I'm like, whereabouts? He's like, it's just near York in Wandoo National Park. I'm like, yes, let's do that.
That's a great national park, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm like, because he's very experienced. He volunteers for the WA Rogaining Association, and he's done a lot in the past. So he kind of knew what we could achieve it was just a 12-hour Rogaine.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that actually sounds like a lot of fun considering where I'm at in life, where I want to slow down and look at orchids and wildflowers.
Yeah.
So I said, instead of doing checkpoints per hour or checkpoints and points scored per hour, we would just do orchids per hour. So we got there and we got the map, and he's like, maybe we just do this. I'm like, that's not very adventurous. Like, let's go for like these 100 pointers and 90 pointers. He's like, no, we're not doing that. So we ended up basically just doing like a walk GPS kind of point to point, trying to be as efficient as possible, but not trying to win as well. And we saw just a ton of orchids, lots of wildflowers. It was good to just spend a lot of time with Steve. He's a very nice person.
Yeah.
And then, great food as well at Rogaines. I can't believe you pay what is a pittance for what you're provided with. And you get a great event. There's great people. Everyone's there to do the same thing. A good atmosphere. I really enjoy Rogaining. I think it'll be a part of my life going forward.
Nice.
End up meeting quite a few people. One guy was doing a quick end-to-end. Who seemed very hardcore, but he was nice guy, and Steve and I went out for a couple of hours at night to kind of tick off a few more checkpoints. And I'm like, probably won't see any orchids. It's middle of the night. It's raining as well. And then I looked down and my headlight illuminated a crimson spider orchid, which I'd not seen that day. And I'm just like, I'll remember exactly where this is. And we're only at that stage, didn't realize we're like 10 meters from the edge of a road. So me and this guy went out the next morning to photograph it. I didn't realize he had the full flash filter hood
the box.
covered.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, your photos are going to be way better than mine.
Yeah, some of those the wildlife photographers that get really hardcore.
Yeah,
they're really hardcore.
I remember getting home Googling what he had in the setup, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get that in the future.
Yeah,
that was quite cool. So yeah, road gaining. I think I'll do that more in the future.
Yeah, cool.
Not sure how it would go the winter 24-hour ones at Dry Andrew, where you're going to be cold and wet and even colder.
Yep.
Yeah, trying to drag one of my friends out as well to do that, because I think she'll quite enjoy it too.
Yep.
Yeah. How did your spring start?
So spring, generally we try to do railway reserves around springtime when the creeks are flowing.
Yeah.
So we did that on the bikes. Did a few other things, but probably the big trip of the year as a family, well, second one actually, really, because we did the one in Sydney, was and I feel so fortunate to have done it when I did. Was we went to Esperance and Fitzgerald River.
Yeah.
So we did Cape Arid, Cape Legrand, Fitzgerald River East, and Fitzgerald River West. And yeah, it was just outstanding. I did, I've done all these walks before, but it was great doing them at nearly the peak of the time to do it.
Yeah.
And we had this idea of going to Wave Rock as well. And we had to not go to Wave Rock because it was Wave Rock weekend on the day we were driving down.
Oh, the festival there?
Yeah, and we were just like, oh, this is going to be awful. But it ended up being one of the best driving road trips I've done, because we, I think a lot of people they don't think about the wheat belt when it comes to wildflowers. And I think actually from a garden point of view that there's more sort of garden-worthy plants in that area than, say, in the Jarrah or the Karri forest. First of all, the trees there, like a carrot, you're not going to put that in your backyard. But some of the mallees are really charismatic and beautiful. And as someone who loves grevilleas and anything Proteaceae, it was just a constantly we go Grevillea paradoxa, Grevillea excelsior, Hekia frutisiana, and it was just constantly Grevillea beardiana. It was just constantly just seeing amazing stuff the whole way. And then when we were in the parks as well, on top of that, the walking is great. So we doing the Legrand Coastal Trail and seeing the stuff along there. And when I did it last, it was autumn when I did it, so it was just turning the knob up to 1,000,000.
Yeah.
And same with I'd say the Hekia Trail was not as good as I thought it was going to be. I expected that that section from Cave Point where you near the start where you walk across the cliffs and it's heathlands.
Yeah.
It was okay only. It wasn't as good as I had hoped it was going to be.
Yeah.
But then the walking from Hammersley Inlet through to the end was unbelievable.
Yeah.
The wildflowers were incredible. The Banksias, the Banksia media, Banksia, the Lemaniana with the lanterns.
Yeah.
And the sheer beauty of the Baron's Regelia in flower. Because when I did that section last time, the walk from the campsite to Coin Head, I was like, this is very boring in autumn. But in springtime, I was like, hey, this is actually really good.
I think the bit between Cave Point, or at least once you round where the cliffs are and that lookout is, and Hammersley Inlet, I think because it's exposed both sides to the elements, I think it must get battered quite a bit. So it'd be quite hard for plants to really establish there.
That's true, yeah.
But I remember around the lookout I found some amazing finds there when I did it, but I was a bit late and it was a bit hot, like the week leading up to that, so I think I missed a fair amount. But yeah, it's just like a game changer, and it's really sad that pretty much, was it like 90% of the park got burnt?
It's a huge amount of the park that was burnt.
And considering, because there was that tanker plane that crashed a few years ago, like it'd previously been burnt as well, so that's not good for the seed banks if they get destroyed.
Well, I'd say one thing is that a lot of the wilderness area hasn't been burnt for a long time, so the seed bank should be fairly full. And this is exactly why a lot of scientists are saying you can't be doing these like 5-year cycles, because you need these deep seed banks in order for the recovery to happen.
Yeah.
So in some of those areas where if they haven't been burnt for a long time, yes, it's going to take a while, but hopefully we'll get a reflourishing of everything. But anything that has sort of had these ridiculous cycles put on them, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I will say that the Mamang Trail, I didn't do it as an overnight this time. I just did it just as a loop. So I got up to the famous bench seat and then headed back. I was just walking with a smile on my face the whole way. Because I think last time I did it, I was like, no. I thought Heikia Trail was the superior of the two.
Yeah.
But I thought the Mamang was actually superior from a wildflower point of view than the Heikia Trail.
Yeah, there's a lot of like interesting dips and dives, and because it's a bit more protected as well, where you walk the inland section.
Yeah.
There's a lot more variety.
So I saw, a lot of isopogons. I saw Petrophily, Grevilleas, Banksias. I'm just saying all Proteaceae. But then also, it was interesting seeing the different things that flower on different parts. And, on the east side, the koala bells were much darker than they were on the west side, I found, in general. And then there was other things as well that, you just don't see on the other side. So, yeah, that was a really good walk. And I'm glad I did it when I did.
I think eventually that might turn into just a loop walk, because from what I've heard, because last time I did it as well, I just did the loop with a bit out to Point Charles, but I think the campsite is now horribly overgrown. I can't imagine what the condition of that toilet block would be after not being looked after, or even it should have just been removed. There's no vehicle access. There's no reason why that should have stayed.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you've got no fresh water out there, it's a bit more of a challenge to stay in an area that's not particularly nice anyway. Like, you'd probably prefer to camp on the beach rather than the inlet campsite.
Yeah, I feel like for the hardy few that are going to walk through the middle, and I don't think anyone's going to be walking through the middle for a while, you probably want to keep going along the beach and camp at the end of that beach.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just don't know. I think you're quite right that I think that as an overnight experience, it's probably not something that will continue, given that they've not invested the infrastructure to make it inviting.
I mean, I still laugh that it's probably one of the worst roads you can drive on to get in there, and then you arrive and it's tarmac and gazebos and concrete and like nice facilities, and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, who is driving all the way from what would be Bremer Bay is the closest town to go have a picnic at that little bay on a picnic table and a concrete floor? Like, it's just so odd. But it's a nice spot, and I really want to get down there during the whale migration as well, and to spend some time just doing nothing. Yeah, because it's a great spot for that.
Yeah, and I think so. Alyssa and Miles definitely enjoyed the nothing, because they had a bit of time where they just stayed in Bremer Bay, and they were like, we've never stayed in Bremer Bay as a family. Like, I went there once just functionally because I was doing some hikes in Fitzgerald River, and And we were like, this is really nice. You know, it's actually a really lovely town to stay in. And next time I go, I really want to go and try and find where Grevillea nivea grows in the wild, because it's one of the most popular grevilleas, but it's from this tiny area on the south coast.
That'll be your pilgrimage.
Yeah. So what did you get up to in spring?
A lot of Perth hikes. So it was nice to do ones that I'd not done before. So I did the Chitty Chitty Ridge out at Chittering. Went to go do another walk out at Chittering, which they've done a nice brochure for and everything at Spoonbill Lake. And I get there, I'm like, the lake's nice, but the walk trail is just along a road to the volunteer firefighters building in the back. I'm like, this is not going in the book at all. But Chitty Chitty Ridge was nice, if not a little short. And then out to 2J to walk the Dawn Atwell Reserve, which is really good for wildflowers and orchids, and Rugged Hills as well, which was not as nice as I remember. So I ended up, because you can do a full loop around the reserve, but I ended up for the book just cutting it in half because the western side is just weeds galore. And it was really hard hit by the droughts we had a couple of summers ago.
Right, okay.
So it's weeds and then just lots of dead casuarina trees. So yeah, that was all right. And then Yanchep National Park. I had not visited there since 2017.
Oh, really?
Not my favourite national park.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
It's just lots of mixed use, and they're expanding that a lot. So you just get a lot of car campers who aren't really there for the natural scenery. Not that there is a lot of natural scenery, because there's just weeds everywhere. I just don't understand. Like, it's meant to be a national park, but it's had such mixed use since basically like the 30s.
Yeah.
That it's just this weird thing. Like, you're on a hike and you're walking through this like nice Chewett woodland, and then you come across a golf course and there's a World War II bunker.
Yeah.
And then here's a cave, and it's just a very weird place. And then like John Forest National Park. I'd not done the wildflower walk through there, which is basically Little Eagle but a bit shorter. The Glenbrook, little Eagle. The Glenbrook Trail, I wasn't expecting much from that, but that was actually a very good experience. Just winding up and down the hills, like beautiful forests, nice granite boulders, wildflowers are really nice. And then just lots of bib stuff. Thankfully, the weather was very cool. I remember going out to Abyssinia Rock in October, and I kept my jacket and beanie on pretty much the whole hike. It was that cold. I'm like, fantastic. This is my kind of weather.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And I did explore more of Abyssinia Rock, just because you'd mentioned it in the past, that like how little you see from
There's
the bib.
like heaps more to do, yeah.
And then you get to the top and you're like looking down, you're like, wow, this is like really special. But there was just a lot of moss growing, blocking my path, and I'm like, I'm not going to be that jerk that just walks over it.
The moss, yeah.
Even though the four-wheel drivers drive on that and put their fire rings on and whatnot. But and then I did my last 2 walks for the book, which was Victoria Reservoir Trail and Lesmurdie Falls, and got home, and Karis was like, Kit's not right. Like, we'd reached at that point, what was that, 6 months since we found out he had a pretty big tumour. And so he wasn't drinking, he wasn't eating. I'm like, okay, so this might be the end, it might not be, he might snap out of it. So that was a tough 24 hours. So by that afternoon, it was a Sunday, I'd kind of gone, this is the end. So first thing in the morning, we were going to call the vet to be like, it's time, let's organise this.
Yeah.
He didn't really sleep that night, so I was sleeping on the floor with him, which is what I'd done around Easter. He just wouldn't get to sleep, so I would take him into my office and just sleep on the floor with him. And then I said, I wasn't going to cry. But yeah, that was a tough day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was. We just tried to make him as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
Um, so we'd booked in the vet, but they couldn't come until like midday, 1 o'clock. But yeah, he didn't make it till then, and it's just tough. Sorry. Yeah. He ended up having a couple of episodes that were quite traumatic and very visceral. So we ended up. It was in the bathroom, and I was just cleaning him up, and I was like, I don't want him to be in here, and so we took him out the front, and then drove him to the vet, but he died on the way. Yeah, it's tough because, yeah, he was my boy.
He was your boy. Yeah. He was a lovely dog.
So yeah, that was a tough time because I'm just very fortunate that I'd made like almost 40 years, and I've got both my parents. No one like major in my life has died. Like
Yeah.
I knew my grandparents, but they lived in England, so it was more like, here are your grandparents. You'd met them twice in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only funeral I'd been to before this year was an acquaintance at school. His dad had died, so we ended up going to that. But then also, family friend Uncle Brian, he passed as well during winter. So that was just very fortunate to live 40 years without that. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much my year. I had to finish writing the book and get that done. Yeah, not much for me from there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that you gave a lot to Kit in his last year, and I think that was worth every moment, obviously. And I'm glad that Alyssa and I got to say goodbye to him as well.
Yeah. You guys were good. He looked after him.
Yeah,
a few times.
He stayed at our place a few times, and he was such a lovely. We always said he was such a beautiful dum dum.
He had a very smooth brain.
Yeah, but also such a smooth operator as well, because he knew he was a good looking dog.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who knew him that hadn't like been there from the start when we had Sadie just loved Kit. Like, he was just a favorite.
Yep.
But yeah,
Kit baby.
Like, yeah, Alyssa would pick him up and be like, "I'm a Kit baby," and we started doing it. It was funny, yeah. Towards the end, because he was deaf for a while before we found out he had cancer. So he just like trot away after doing something, and so we started calling him Sir. And then Karis found this great meme where it's like, "Would you ever call your dog Sir?" But not in a respectful way, more in like you're working at a buffet and you're like, Sir, do not put your face like behind the glass.
Yeah.
So he was a good boy, and yeah, it was funny because Sadie, like, we thought she would react a little bit more, but I think she's just unbelievably happy that she's a single dog.
Yeah,
she gets all the attention now.
Yeah. She doesn't like authority challenged.
Yeah, I think she realized towards the end, but yeah, it was just, they were kind of I don't know. They were friends, but not friends. Kind of frenemies that live together.
Yeah. I think you said something like that. They tolerated each other.
Yeah. But then, like, when we were going through all of our phones and looking for photos and videos, like, we found quite a few moments where, like, Sadie would be resting her head on him, or they'd be playing. They used to do this thing in the mornings, like, we called it Animal Planet. We'd wake up at, like, 6, 7 o'clock, and they'd just kind of, like, roar at each other, and, like, Sadie would nibble his neck. I'm not sure where she got that from, and yeah, I mean, I think they were good friends.
Yeah.
So how was your spring/end of year?
Yeah, so I got to do one thing that I've been wanting to do that I set in motion in 2016, which was after finishing the Overland track, it was a bit of like, so what's next? And literally in the guidebook I had, there was like a what's next section. And I went to their website, and they don't promote it this way anymore, but at the time they had their 6 great walks, or the Great Bush Walks. And they were the Overland, Walls of Jerusalem, Frenchman's Cap, South Coast Track, Freycinet Peninsula, and the 3 Capes.
Yeah.
And so I had done all of them except for the 3 Capes. And I had a conference in Sydney to go to, and I had a meeting in Hobart on like the Wednesday, and I finished my conference on the Friday. Yeah. And I was like, this is the perfect time. So
what do I do?
So what I did was, I didn't do the 3 Capes, but I did do the free Capes.
Yeah.
So it is possible to do pretty much all of the 3 Capes except for that first day walking from where the boat lands.
Yeah.
So I did, and you do a different section, which is also really cool, because there was like a really beautiful wildflower section that I was just like sledgehammer to the face of wildflowers.
Yeah.
So I did this, I think it must have been November. And it was, just fantastic. You know, I think it's great because I feel like I've done a walk that you've done, and you've done it in the nicest, most luxurious way imaginable.
Correct.
And I've done it in the least luxurious way. But I think any way you do that walk, it is like unbelievably excellent.
I mean, they're completely different walks. In the one that you did, the Free Capes, you get to see a little bit that no one else sees, and you get to stay at a campsite no one else stays. The regular 3 Capes includes a boat ride to the base of all the really spectacular dolerite columns that you don't get on the Free Capes and the Lodge Walk.
Yep.
And then you get the Lodge Walk, which you stay in amazing accommodation and get
food
and wine. So, I mean, there's, like the 3 tiers, but they're not, like, in terms of quality, you're still getting the same amazing experience. It's just some of the extras are a little different.
Yeah, so I stayed at the one, so you stay at one campsite, it's like a base camp for the whole trip. And it's like unbelievable. Like there was like 20, I think you could have 20, there were either, I can't remember if I counted this wrong, there was either 20 tent platforms or it was 20 tents could be set up because it's 2 per platform. I think it must have been 20 platforms, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was gigantic, and the amenities there, like if that was on any other place but there, you'd be like, this is one of the best campsites ever, you know?
And were you expecting that, or were you expecting something like a South Coast Track campsite?
Oh, I knew it was better than the South. I was expecting it to be a bit more like Wild Dog Creek on the Walls of Jerusalem, and it was very much like that, but even more so, I'd say. Given that this is the sort of, you know, like this is the third class, version. I was really blown away. And the thing is, as you walk through the huts, you can use the facilities. So you can sit down and have a drink there.
Yeah.
You can fill up water. So it was, beautiful. And the Dolerite cliffs are stunning. Yeah. I had great weather. It was a bit windy. When I say great weather, as I was walking out to Cape Pillar, it like just started snowing at sea level, just like this dusting of snow. It wasn't heavy, but I was like, I know what this is. This is snow. And then when I got out there, it was so beautiful. It just, I think a lot of people think because it's been, quote unquote dumbed down that it's not worth doing.
Yeah.
But I think if you're hiking for the scenery, if you're there just to be like, oh, look how good I am and I'm doing this hardcore thing, sure, it's super, super easy. But if you're there for great scenery, the scenery is outstanding. And the last day was, I'd say, even better. When you go over Mount Fortescue and then to Cape Cape Hue. Yeah, and when you go out to Cape Hue, just unbelievably beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the Tassie experience in a nutshell, as you get the beautiful coastal walkings with the cliffs, and then you get the temperate rainforest as well on Mount Fortescue. So that's, and then dry sclerophyll as you finish into this beautiful bay with a pristine beach. Yeah, that's a good last day.
Yeah.
Did you do the Blade out near Cape Pillar?
It was too windy for me to do. So I thought about it and I went, and I'd say becoming a parent, I'm not just thinking about myself as much. So if it was not windy, I probably would have done it. If I was younger and didn't have a family that relies on me, maybe I would have done it. But, I think twice before doing things that may be a bit more dangerous because it is like quite exposed.
Yeah. I mean, the day we did it was basically no wind and sunny, and Karis was crawling up on hands and knees. I'm like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess in the wind, it would be a different experience.
Yeah. It being super windy, I was just like, I'm not taking this risk. But, in every other way, I thought it was a wonderful experience.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's one of those hikes you hear about quite a lot because, it's the Three Capes and there's really nice huts and everything, but doing it the way you did it, just as spectacular.
Absolutely. And the bit that you do when you walk in, as I said, the wildflowers are great. And you go through like button grass moorlands that are, reminded me so much of the South Coast track where you used to see the hills and, just beautiful Tasmania.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you get anything to end the year? Was it pretty
No.
chill?
So, I mean, I was planning on... What was I planning on doing? I had planned to go over east to do something.
The Great Ocean Walk?
Great Ocean Walk.
Yeah.
That's right, with you. And the reason I didn't was because we decided...
I mean, I said no as well.
You did say no as well. But I could have gone anyway. But I decided, look, I really just want to pull out my shed and have more garden. And when I did the maths of how expensive all of that was going to be, it was just too expensive to do a holiday and that. And so I just decided, well, for many years I've not been home around Christmas. So I just spent the time at home.
Yeah.
I rode my bike. I had it from when I went on holiday from work just before Christmas till February, I think it was. I did 52 days straight of riding my bike every night.
That's pretty good.
So I smashed that out. And yeah, we tore down our shed as you saw today.
I did.
And we redid our garage. And that's because it gives me so much more garden. So...
Well, that and you got extra space, but the shed was also, because it's on the northern end of your garden, it blocks out a bit of light as well.
Yeah, and so basically, if you had really, plants that want hot, so like verticordias, that's exactly the spot that they want. And yet, we had a shed that was taking up the prime real estate.
Yeah.
So I worked out it adds like 15 square meters of garden, and some of that's paths, but it adds so much more to the experience. So, yeah.
No, that's good. We'll probably talk about that a bit later. Moving on. So that's the end of 2025. Where would you rank that in the pantheon of the last 10 odd years of since starting the website and the YouTube channel?
Yeah, it was an okay year. I think considering that if I think about it as an okay year, well, I started it pretty amazingly with Traverse Sabine. 3 Capes was awesome. I did I had four real, 3 main trips and then 2 smaller trips plus the hiking. And look, I think from the perspective of being a parent and what we talked about, like how lucky I am to be able to do any of it, a fantastic year. But if you compare it to the heady heights of 2018, no, not as good as that. But then so much better than 2021, so much better.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess this was not a great year for you.
No, I mean, just looking at hiking wise, like I got out and I did a fair amount, but because I'm not writing a lot of it up for the website because it's for the book, there's like that delayed gratification, and it's kind of a different thing. Is like I can just at any time jump onto the website and go read about something I did 5 years ago. Whereas the book is kind of more of a, like, it's meant to be accessible for people who haven't visited a trail or want ideas, so it's more directional.
Yeah.
So it's, a bit of a different beast, but I mean...
And the books are less personal than your website? Like, Life of Pi is a journal in a lot of ways,
Pretty
right?
much, yeah. And I still haven't written up any of the Kangaroo Island stuff. I need to get around to doing that, but I just, not enthused about that particular trip, even though it did have some nice highlights, and I think people will enjoy it. I just got to find the motivation for it. But yeah, this would probably be one of the lesser years in terms of everything. Is my 2021, unlike yours, was probably my best year of adventures.
Yeah.
I had a really long Tassie trip, Exmouth for the first time, the Munda Biddy, and then a whole load of adventures in between then. So that's compared to that year, it's
yeah.
Down the bottom. So we did. I put out the call for listener questions, and thank you everyone that sent some in. So the first one is: in your experience, what are some of the good and bad things in terms of camping etiquette that you can talk about? Okay,
so I mean, as a snorer, I think that there's a lot of debate as to what the right thing to do is. I tend to bring spare earplugs, and I try to warn people. In a situation like the Bibbulmun track, there's the option of tenting, so there is that. So I can go and do that. But it's a little bit harder in circumstances where the hut's the only choice, as is often in New Zealand or some other places. So I do try to be reasonable with that, because I have experienced, I've experienced the negativity that comes with some people who just don't give a shit, as has happened. Like dog pool I stayed at with some guys who were like up at 3 a.m. talking at full volume, and they'd already snored through the night as well. It's like, come on, guys, So I think that there's a little bit of you can't help it as a snorer, but there's things that you can do to mitigate your disruption to other people. I don't agree with Bonnie, who says like, "Oh, you should be out in the, out in the sticks." But I do think that you can do things that try to limit your impact on other people. Another thing is people who arrive really late. Don't be a jerk about it. Like go camp somewhere far out away. If the hut is full as well. Like I remember staying at a Warren. Was it Warren? Yeah, I think it was Warren hut. And someone came in at like 8 o'clock, and then they insisted on setting up their tent underneath the shelter.
Yeah, I've had it happen at, oh God, I am forgetting the name of it. The one after Mount Chance. Woolbales.
Yeah.
It was like 7:45 and a couple of ladies came in, and I was already in my tent and watching a movie probably, and they're like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry, like we're not going to disturb you." And I'm like, just go for it. It's late if you're a hiker, and because it's already been dark for a couple of hours, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's not too late. But if you're rocking up at like 9, 10 o'clock,
Yeah. Well, so I think the thing was this guy was rocking up at 8, but he was like, "Hey guys, how's this going?"
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
and oh, I'm gonna cook my food and have a talk with everyone and laugh. And I'm
Yeah.
like, shut up.
Yeah. I'm going to go to sleep very soon, but
Yeah.
you're stopping me.
So I think that that's a big thing, particularly with, there's this whole sort of movement to like FKT guys, and they're rocking up at like 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, guys, you got if you're going to do that, power to you, but also just be aware. And particularly because they're trying to do it light, so they're not carrying a tent. They want to stay in the shelter,
Yeah.
but then they're impacting on everyone else's enjoyment. So, yeah, great, you get to get your FKT, but don't do it at the expense of everyone else.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adding on to that, I would probably say, and I'm a little bit guilty of this, especially if I'm one of the first ones at camp, is taking up too much room and having your stuff spread out everywhere. So I try to limit it where I can. And like most of the time, if I'm doing a hike in the Perth Hills, like at a bib shelter, I'll probably just be in my tent. I prefer to leave the shelters for people doing end-to-ends and that would actually use it properly. Like if I'm just doing an overnighter, I don't mind using my tent. But yeah, trying to keep your stuff in one spot and not take up like an entire table with your dinner, which is quite hard sometimes when you've got like a jet boil and your dehydrated meals and you're making a cup of tea and you've got like stuff you want to charge at the same time. And yeah. And also, like noise as well, just being respectful of people. Not having a Bluetooth speaker blasting out what you think is good music that other people may not enjoy.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah. And also the fire. Like, I appreciate that people like having a campfire, but it's when you start, like, taking directly from around the campsite, like logs and firewood and stuff. Like, walk 200-300 meters away and get your firewood there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because some of the campsites are becoming, especially on the bib, just very sparse around camp.
Yeah, yep. Like I think that's definitely the case at Mount Wells. I feel like it's becoming more and more sparse up there because people and I think because you can, I've seen convoy of dirt bikes rock up to there because you can ride there, and because of that, people are probably going, oh, we can party up here, and then they're even less good users of the trail than an inconsiderate hiker.
Yeah.
They're the sort of people who steal a water tank, as has happened. That's probably about the extent of, like, the worst that you can do for trail etiquette is steal a water tank from a hike, right?
I feel like that kind of stuff's getting worse and worse. Like, we used to go out 10 years ago and you might see a four-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Maybe. But now you're pretty much guaranteed to see a four-wheel drive out in the disease risk area and water catchments.
The thing is, there's no policing. Like, if you think about, the work that the police could be doing, if they went out and they sat by a gate that constantly gets pulled out by DBCA, and they sat there every weekend for a month and arrested the people who are breaking government property, and also a directive to not enter certain areas, they could be they could be paying for the operation, but they just don't care. There's just no, it's just, I've been out there and just seen, it's a completely toothless tiger. And this is what happens. And then they say, oh, we're going to call Crime Stoppers. Yeah, well, I've reported people who have driven to a campsite and nothing happened to them.
Yeah. What I find weird about the Helena tank stealing is they'd stolen one and drained the other. Now, to me, I would wait for them to come back for the second tank because they would have drained it, wanting to come back to collect it. I would have just waited there.
Oh, I'm gonna come back for this one, mate. Yeah.
Next question is, if you were to design a new trail in Perth, where would you put it? So I think this is probably related to the lack of trails we have. Where would you be your ideal spot for a new Perth trail?
Well, I mean, how far away from Perth is, Perth, right?
Like Darling Range, up to maybe an hour's drive.
Because, we've talked about, of the walk GPS walks, the one that I think about the most is probably Boyargin Rock. I think that if that was a real trail, that would be one of the best in Perth. The other one that I think is a wonderful walk is the North Dandalup. I think that he goes a bit too far, like goes on forever after the smash to the face, which is the waterfall, and you come to the Mundabiddy hut and all of that. But those two are ones I still think about as really fantastic walks. And I'm like, how is, for example, the North Dandalup downstream of the Weir State Forest 14 or something like that? Not even National Park.
Especially when from North Dandalup Dam you can see Alcoa mining like right up to the edge of the dam.
Yeah.
It's like, what's our impact here, like on the grand scale of things?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that would be, for me, those are two that if you could convert those into real trails, then yeah.
I think there's in Banyola Regional Park some opportunities. So you know how you drive out and you take the shortcut from Tonkin Highway up the hill to then hook on to Brookton Highway, like driving through that area.
Oh yeah.
I reckon around there, maybe linking up like Ellis Brook with a few of the other places, you could create a nice like half day to full day loop.
Yeah, true.
Same with the other side of Monday Brook from Victoria Reservoir.
Yep.
That has some amazing forests through there. And then probably further out, maybe Wandoo National Park, how that doesn't have any trails at all.
Yeah, I did the walk GPS out there, and it's less interesting from a geology point of view, but I think from a plants point of view, like Verticordia through there in the right time of year, some of the best you'll see not far from Perth.
But even like outside of wildflower season, like there's some amazing Wandoo
the
country
Wandoo
there. That's why they named it Wandoo
yeah.
National Park. But yeah, and like while we're doing the Rogaine out there, like the roads in there, it's just dirt bikers parked up, putting their gazebos up because they know no one's ever going to catch them, and they just cut trails through wherever they want.
Yep.
So it's just amazing we don't get any walking trails.
Yep.
Next question is, what would be your hiking theme song?
I don't know. What do you have one?
I don't know. Like I have this thing in my head because I may or may not be doing a Billman end-to-end soon of like having a song that I would play at the end of each day when I get to camp. Which would probably be Jungle by Tash Sultana, just because it's like a nice uplifting one you can dance about to. But walking wise, I don't know, probably something from the Lord of the Rings soundtrack.
The road goes ever on and on.
Or if I'm not feeling it, maybe like Gollum's theme.
I'm not sure, Oh, well, I know what the theme would be. It'd be the long way's better. Yeah.
Could you have that on repeat though? Wouldn't that drive you insane?
No, I couldn't at all. But that's the song that would be the song that I think about.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we're hiking and we feel like we're in an episode, right?
Yeah.
I'll just start humming that.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really hike with music, but I do have like done the dodgy thing where people will put like hour-long Lord of the Rings like ambient music, so I'll just download that off YouTube and I'll just play that while I'm hiking. So that would probably be my theme song. What is the most overrated hike in WA in your opinion?
Well, you kind of talked about it earlier. One of them would be Ghost House. That's like one of the top trails. Nah, not at all. I think that there's a few others that, well, Bluff Knoll is a good walk, but it's not the best walk. I still think
I wouldn't call it overrated though. I think that's probably properly rated.
Oh, I think it's still overrated. Like even though the last time I did it, I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. Like it's a good walk, but the way people talk about it and the excessive focus it has, when it's not even the best walk in the park. Not even like I would say, the way that people just get so, like country bumpkin about the fact that there's snow on it, You know, like just like I'm a bit like yeah, you know, like it is what it is, but there's much better walks. I think bald head is, you know, justly celebrated and probably even still not as celebrated as it should be. And of course, you know, like Wilman Billy definitely should not even be mentioned.
I mean, outside of DBCA, does anyone actually rate that walk or talk about it?
Yeah, that's true.
So I wouldn't really call it overrated.
Yeah, it's probably
sense.
not overrated. It's probably just, yeah, overly publicized. Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
I would probably say Bell's Rapids. I don't enjoy it there. Even if you take away the crowds, you're walking up like weed infested areas. Yeah, like you went from the top, it's okay to see, you know, the river and then Bell's Falls in the distance. But most of it is just unnatural, weedy, muddy. It's not my cup of tea. I think I may have mentioned this in the book, but like if you wanted something like Bell's Rapids in the area, go to FR Berry Reserve. It's much
it is
better.
much better. Yep. Also home to like a grevillea that was for a long time thought extinct, and they were like, oh, it's just here in this reserve.
Yeah, and like you still get, it's not the Avon/Swan River, but it's, you know, Wooroloo Brook. It's still quite nice. You get the rapids there, the boulders in the rock. The forest is much more natural.
Yep.
It's just a better experience, I think. Yeah, I think Bell's Rapids is kind of one of those ones that's a bit too popular because of social media, and probably it's easier to access as well for people in the northern suburbs. Next question is, can we see your gardens? So we can see your garden quite a lot because you have your own Instagram account.
Like, what do you mean? Like in person or on...
I'm not sure. I assume that's because I've had people message me saying, can you do like a video of your garden rather than just the photos of what's flowering?
Yeah.
So maybe it's in relation to that. But you have like more broader shots of your garden on your Instagram account.
I do. So if you go to at RGB_gardens, which is the page I have for my garden, I did do a whole walk around the garden in springtime, so you can see what it looked like at like probably near the peak of wildflower season. And I do try to, because I'm not well, the devil is in the detail. I will give you that. It is also, you know, for me, it's always the sledgehammer to the face is the thing that I'm always interested in, and that is that it's not good enough for me that if you have this beautiful flower and the rest looks like a hellscape. So I try to make the whole be as appealing as possible. So yeah, I do have a lot more wider shots of the garden for that reason, to try to capture that. And you should do the same because your garden looks nice as well, you know?
Yeah, I think I meant to do one in spring last year when it was in its full glory, but then my Ficofolia died out the back, so I'm like, this is terrible. Yep. So I'll do one this spring because I've just recently redone where the Ficofolia was, and that's going to be a full plant out. So, I mean, in a couple of days' time, I'll be at the Kings Park plant sale buying stuff for that.
Yep. Yep.
So I think, yeah, August, September, October, I'll do a few videos about my garden.
Yeah.
And hopefully don't dox myself where I live. But I did have 2 door knockers today who didn't actually knock on my door or press the doorbell, but I could see them in the Ring camera, and it has a microphone in it. And I was just like, I can see they're talking. I'll just see what they're saying. And then one of the guys turned to the other. He's like, "It's a cool garden." I was like, yes.
Yes.
It is, mate. But I'm not donating to whoever you're hawking.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
That will be coming for mine eventually. Last question is, if you were a member of the Fellowship, who do you think you would be? And who do you think the other person would be?
Like, as in you?
Yeah, so I think I would tell you who I think you are, and you would tell me who you think I am.
Look, I don't. Everyone will want to say, right? If you want to pick someone in the Fellowship, you're gonna want to imagine yourself as either Aragorn
Yeah.
or the ultimate hero of them all, Samwise Gamgee, right?
Yeah.
I'll have the humility to say I don't think I'm either of them.
You're a fool of a toque.
I don't know. Like, I'm not treacherous like Boromir. I'm not an old wise sage like Gandalf. I don't think that I'm a fool of a toque. I don't know. I think I would say that I'd say Frodo would probably be more likely for me to say that I'm like Frodo. But then, I think that I probably lean on friends who are maybe a little bit more noble as a result. Because I don't think you can be Frodo without that. You can't. You need to have your Samwise.
Who would be your Samwise then?
I don't know. I'd say I think that you have a lot of Aragorn-y qualities.
See, I wouldn't, assume Aragorn as my representative. I would probably lean more towards Boromir.
You would say you're Boromir.
Potentially, if there's a dirt bike in the area, I can channel that inner corrupt self.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Frodo, kind of a bit naive.
You know who I just forgot about?
Gimli?
Forgot about Gimli.
I mean, that's my answer for who I think you are in the Fellowship.
No, I think you're right. I remember saying something like with when I had the longer hair and the beard, I was like, "And my axe." In which case, I think Legolas, right?
Yeah,
you're Legolas.
I mean, but just not as graceful. Also, I'm thinking film-wise rather than book-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think you've got that humour that Gimli has, but then he's also a bit of a grump sometimes, and you have the beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, us dwarves are built for cross country.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I think you got it. I don't know why I just didn't think of them. Yeah, but that makes sense. Yeah. And would you say that you are Legolas-esque?
No, I'm not graceful. I mean, he's a little bit bland in the movies.
But he does some cool stuff.
He does. I do enjoy the meme of because the meme where Frodo at the end when everyone comes in Rivendell and he doesn't actually acknowledge Legolas like he's forgotten his name. It's like that one work colleague you've worked for 3 years and you still don't know their name.
Yeah,
I mean that's how I could be perceived at work. Just kind of there. People don't know who I am or what I do. I don't know. I'm probably a mix of a few of them.
I think that's that everyone's archetypes, right, in the book, and we're probably all fragments of those characters, and we're all mixes of our honest selves and our best selves, and the best self anyone could be is probably Samwise Gamgee, but we're not that.
The true hero, yeah.
Yeah.
One I could never be is Merry in the films. Like that troublesome, like, there's a quote, and I think it's Return of the King, where he's like, I was always the one to get into the worst kinds of trouble. I'm like, I never liked those people as kids. Like, I was just very risk averse as a kid.
Yeah.
All right, on to our usual set of questions. Best hour on a trail in 2025.
Oh, 100% I know this one. And that is the hour walking into Lake Angeles. So you're walking on this mountain ridge. It was getting cloudy, but then the clouds parted. And I saw Lake Angeles and the hut overlooking that. And yeah, that will be, that's the greatest campsite I've ever been to. the most stunning. So I don't know if I'm going to beat that. Yeah. How about you?
I mean, I'm probably going to struggle for this one because, like, I did a lot, but it was kind of stuff I've already done before or things that kind of didn't, like, it's not stuck in my memory as amazing, super duper, like, memory. So I would probably actually just say, like, an hour walking along the Warren River with my niece. That was pretty cool because it was a cold and wet day. There was lots of fungi out. We were seeing orchids, spending time together, which, my sister and her family live down in Bunbury, so I don't get to see them as much. So,
Is it along the river part of the walk?
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty special.
Because the top bits, it's nice, but there's lots of soap bush in places.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get down to the river, you're like, yes, this is why I'm on this walk, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I think that section along the river is like one of the nicest bits of trail in all of Southwest WA.
And what I couldn't understand is, I'm pretty sure it was school holiday. It must have been school holidays because she would have been off netball. But I think there was one camper at the two campsites along there. I'm like, this is like great that there's such an amazing spot that's so quiet and underrated. But like, it's the middle of school holidays. Like, where the hell is everyone?
Yeah.
And there were people at the Dave Evans tree, but like it was just too wet to do anything there. They were just there to look at it. But yeah, it's just really weird. No one was camping there. Maybe the weather put them off.
Yeah,
which it did for us. Best trail of the year. So probably trail day, considering you've done multi-days.
So I mean, the day up to Lake Angeles was great, but I feel like it's a bit bland to say the same thing. I will say the day walking the Mamang Trail, it's one of the happiest days I've had probably walking a trail. I just was so happy because it was just beautiful. And probably two things. One was when I did it last time, it was a bit hot on the day back, and there was a lot of flies, so I was really annoyed. Whereas that day the weather was great, and also my interest in plants has increased. So I thought, as someone who was disinterested in hiking for botany reasons, I thought that Fitzgerald River was pretty amazing when I did it before. But as someone who has a garden now, I was like, whoa, this is unbelievable. So and then walking back, like I finished it fairly quickly, and I was like, this is like, I cannot fault this walk at all. It was just wonderful.
So did you do the inland section first, or did you do the beach
inland section first? Yeah.
Because the beach section, it's not as boring as what I thought it would be, because you get the rocks,
the jagged daggers sticking out. Yeah.
So it's quite a fun loop. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a bad trail day.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm going to go the York Rogaine, because it was a 12-hour Rogaine, 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. Saw lots of wildflowers, lots of orchids. Spent a great day with Steve. Yeah, met lots of really cool people. I think that was probably the highlight. Even though it wasn't a trail, it was
a hike.
A hike experience.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, the York Rogaine.
Yeah, maybe we should change her name to Real Hike Talk.
Real Nature Talk, because we got gardens
now. True. Yeah.
Worst trail of the year.
Worst trail. That's pretty hard, man. Well, I know the Blue Mountains one, because I didn't get to finish it. It sucks to be able to do something and not be able to do something because of external reasons. So yeah, that's easily the worst, because we went all the way up there to do that walk, and then to have to pull out because your kid isn't having a good time, and it's the right decision. Yeah. But you hate having to make that decision.
Yeah, no, understandable.
Yeah. You?
Toss up between two on Kangaroo Island. One, the Timber Creek Walk, and the Bald Hill Hike. So they both start from the same spot. But one thing I didn't realise when we went to Kangaroo Island is just how massive the place is, but also how far apart the nature spots are.
Right.
And like most of Kangaroo Island is basically a sheep paddock. So you're driving a long way to get to the wilderness areas. And these were in a guidebook that I'd bought. It had like 25 hikes around Kangaroo Island. And these are just very much filler hikes. And I understand we were in pretty much the worst time of the year because it was April when we did it. So it's similar to the southwest, like Jarrah Forest, where you're not going to get a lot of wildflowers. It's a bit dry. They were okay, and I've got some okay photos, but they were just not enjoyable hikes.
Yeah.
And they were just kind of out and back in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by farmland and a little bit of nature. So they are my worst trails for the year. A new one that I'm going to add for each year going forward is a garden update. So what did you do to your garden in 2025 that's heartbreaking or significant?
So positively, we extended the garden. So we originally what we started with as an idea was probably half of what we originally put in 2024, and now it's just taken over everything. So we added a second smaller bed to the right of the middle of the pathway, and then we added on the right side when you head out, we added a productive garden. So I've got all my citrus orchard on that side and chilies and herbs. And I added some really cool stuff from Kings Park sales and various places. So like Prestantha verticillarius, which is found in like a tiny granite outcrop not far from Mount Many Peaks. That's a real prize to get one of those. There's a few other like quite rare plants like Grevillea Bronweniae, which is quite hard to get, grows near Nannup, but very hard to get in WA. So I was really glad to get that. Common one that is, well, not common, but a hybrid that I love is the City Lights, which I think even you as like someone who's not really into hybrids, you're like, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the sort of stuff. I've down negatives. I have had some deaths. They're actually more 2026 deaths, but if we're looking at the year that's passed, I had a Banksia brownii die. I had a Leschnaultia laricina, which I've cracked how to keep Leschnaultias alive, but what I haven't cracked is how to stop farming ants killing plants.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So that sucks that happened. And just recently we, as I mentioned, we didn't go away over the summer because I pulled out our shed. So we pulled out our shed, and tomorrow I'm putting in the new garden bed for that.
Nice.
And I also made some new connections. Like when I was down in Esperance, I met the Esperance nursery guy there.
Yeah.
And I was able to get some stuff that I've never seen elsewhere from him, like the octopus mallee, which is one of the ones that in our garden episode that Angela mentioned that she really wants.
She did.
And I managed to get one.
Yes. And you got me a Eucalyptus platypus and Newtons, which have just been planted in my new backyard.
Yes, and both of them are very rare to get in Perth. So he has some really cool eucalyptus. He does a lot of bush regen. So he grows a lot of eucalypts because that's what they ask for. But he grows cool stuff that you can't get in Perth very easily.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, when you sent through a message being like, what would you want to see so I can pass on some like information in case he's seed collecting? I'm like, we kind of really get a lot of the Fitzgerald River plants anyway. So I was like, there's not really much that I haven't got or can't get that I would want. But yeah, there's still obviously a lot that he can maybe access that you can't get readily from Kings Park or Australian Native Nursery.
Yeah. Yep.
But I've got some of the cool stuff that I want, like the Barron's coneflower.
Yeah.
That's planted and thriving at the moment.
Oh,
so fingers crossed.
That's Isopogon's trilobus, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Little orange flowers that look quite spectacular.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
My garden, like, I mean, it all blends into what's happened, but I don't think I've had... The only thing is my Ficofolia died, which was a bit sad. It never really thrived. It flowered a few times, but it didn't really produce many, like, new shoots that was looking healthy. But that's now given me the opportunity, which I did a few weeks ago, is to rip up all the brick paving out the back and replace that with a nice garden path, and I will eventually plant that out to be a bit more user friendly.
Nice.
But yeah, just lots of deaths. They never let you know that it's coming. It's just, oh yeah, one day that's not looking healthy, and then 2 days later, that's now dead.
Yeah.
For the life of me, I can't keep Pomelias alive.
Okay.
But I was told recently by someone who works at Kings Park is they love a regular watering schedule. So I'll have to remember that going
forward.
Just
keep it regular.
Yeah, which is hard when like a lesser part of my garden now is hand watered. I've started fitting more reticulation in, but it's hard to keep a regular watering pattern.
Yeah.
And when it gets hot, you tend to water more, which may or may not be beneficial. You never really know until plants die.
Exactly, because like the symptoms of over and underwatering are nearly identical.
Yeah.
And and I always say with Banksias, once there's a decline, it's inexorable. Like you can't stop it.
Yeah, and Banksias, like sometimes they don't like water, but other times you really need to give them a good soak.
And it's like, but which one? Yeah, I was reading about Banksia coccinea as a book I picked up that George Lulfitz wrote, and he said that the best way to grow it in Perth is to have it in gravel for like a raised bed at least half a meter above the ground, above sand. And he said that's the best, or to have it in like a clayey kind of soil underneath that. I'm like, yeah, but how am I going to do that?
I mean, you're going to hate me, but my coccinea that you got me is sitting above a section of concrete.
But that's probably it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
it's probably
life.
Keeping that water up. And yet my endless sand was like, no, I don't like this. Yeah. Yeah.
I think also in 2025 I planted out, we've got a very narrow brick path that goes along the side of the house where the driveway to the back properties is. I was looking at it and I was like, I can just remove a couple of bricks going down there and plant some more stuff out. So I did that, and that's thriving. We've got a nice wattle growing outside our bedroom window. It blocks out a lot, and everything else is thriving. So I'm like, good choice, me.
Yeah, nice.
All right, 2026 plans. We're already 2 and a bit months in.
Yeah, so I've been over to Tasmania, but I haven't felt the need to go and do a hike. But I do intend to go back there and do the overland in winter. That's my big...
Yeah.
That's my 40th birthday present to myself, is to do the overland in winter, because in 2016 I did it for the first time. I want to do it this time in winter not by myself, but not with the family, but with friends.
Yeah.
And then in 2036 I want to do it with Miles.
Nice.
So that's every 10 years you get to do it. So that's one. End of the year, I possibly want to go and do the Dusky track. So that I can say I've done it while I'm young enough to have done it.
Yeah.
That's a maybe, because I'm just trying to work it out, because I could do that, or next year I could possibly do the Larapinta. And
know which one I would.
Yeah. So I'm trying to work out like the best way. The thing is, the New Zealand economy has gone to shit, and the dollar to the New Zealand dollar is like really good. Yeah. So maybe now is the right time to go to New Zealand. So we'll see. But those are the two things. Next year, I'm planning on doing the Mandabidi, so I'm planning to just do a lot of bike riding. So I'm hoping to do a series of videos on bike rides in Perth and the Southwest. But also, I'm just as I kind of alluded to earlier, I'm really struggling with motivation to edit these videos because I last year I was really busy at the start of the year, got really busy with work in the middle of the year, and so all the stuff I've shot from like Traverse Sabine onwards is a backlog, and just the thought of it is a little bit of it, just this enormous how am I going to ever deal with this feeling? So I've filmed everything, but I also feel a little bit sort of like, do I want to do this or not? Yeah. So those are things that are playing in my mind. But I'd say Overland in Winter is a must, and that we'll see how we go from there. How about you?
I'm in limbo at the moment, so I could either be doing a lot or I could be doing not much. Because the company that I started at 19 years ago, as that recording, will no longer exist in 9 days.
Oh, really?
So, it's been a running joke, and I'm
Yeah,
sure
you've
I've
been telling me
mentioned
this since we've known each other.
Yeah, redundancy's always been 3 years away on a rolling 3 years. But I think a couple of years ago or last year, it was like a firm date was set, and that's what I've been sort of doing the last 6 months, is working towards that, but also not really, which has just been a weird situation at work. And then they've provided no guidance or announcement about what's happening after that. So I'm still waiting to see what's happened. So I could have a lot of time on my hands, or I could have a decision to make about whether I want to continue working for the company it's been rolled into. So that's kind of contributing to my lack of plans for 2026. And I was hoping at the moment to be constructing the realignment on the Kingdom of Pi, but that is being held up by heritage surveys that I've been told won't happen this financial year and are maybe going to happen next financial year. And then if they need to do another dieback survey, if they don't do their prescribed burn near Possum Springs correctly, I'll have to wait another 3 years after that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I'm like, you guys you're the same department, the ones doing the burns and the ones dealing with the realignment. Can't you talk to each other and make sure you don't stuff up the burns like you did around Yortamung? Was that 2018?
Yeah.
2017? So that's been super frustrating, because every time I go out there, I know the route. I can pretty much walk it without looking at my phone and the GPS too much. I just want to get stuck in, because I walked the actual Billman a couple of weeks ago, and it's not nice. I'd forgotten
it's a
how not
super
nice.
Boring section. Yeah.
There's parts I enjoy, but south of the swampy area along Wilshusen Road is just, it's not nice at all, and I wouldn't want to walk that as an end-to-ender.
Yeah.
I can understand why people wouldn't enjoy that, which is why I want to get it off as quickly as possible, but out of my hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could be doing a Billman end-to-end this year. I could be starting a new career. As Kevin Garnett has said, anything is possible.
Yeah. And look, the amount of times that I've made some wild claims about what I'm going to do, and it's fallen through because of COVID or something else. It's sort of no point in overcommitting.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just playing it by ear, which is kind of how we've been since we got the news about Kit last year. Is just a wait and see approach, which is not nice, because you kind of want to live your life, but it's just hard sometimes, and maybe I just need to commit to doing something. And maybe doing a week on the Mundabidi with our guests that we're having on the next pod.
Oh, nice.
But then she's going off for a few months to do more hiking in Europe, so
Yeah.
that may or may not happen. But I think if it doesn't happen, I might just try and get out there anyway.
Yeah.
But we'll see how much time I have on my hands.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
2025. Not my best year. It was a year.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say for me, was it the best year I've had since having a kid? Possibly. Even though I don't think hiking was a big part of my year. I think if I think about the fact I did Traverse by Maramarang, the Three Capes, and Fitzgerald River and Esperance, particularly before the fires in Fitzgerald River, that's a pretty good year. I can't really complain, and I definitely am very lucky. Yeah,
I mean, I definitely had thoughts towards the end of 2025 of, do I just shut the website down? Like, is it worth it? Another factor on my mind is the provider I use is Israeli, and I'm not particularly fond of supporting that. And I think it wasn't 2025, it was 2024 when basically I ran out of storage on my website.
Oh, I remember.
And I contacted them and I changed plans and I got all that, but I had to basically compress all the photos down, which took a while. And I was talking to their help people, and they basically said, "You are a legacy website. We may or may not be supporting you going forward." And I tried around with Squarespace to try and recreate what I had. You just can't do it. All they want is template, basic info, 1 or 2 photos, and that's your page, and you're paying an arm and a leg. So the life of Pi may be numbered in terms of it being supported as what it is now.
I'd say I can kind of relate in the sense that I feel for the amount of effort that the Long Ways Better takes, even as the YouTube channel, which I did as a bit of a, as a way of dealing with being a parent and not being able to give my full attention. I find with hiking, the whole scene just bums me out in a lot of ways. Some of the absolute sort of, for want of a better word, just dick measuring that happens. It's just so much bravado and so much, I don't know. I think about the hiking Instagram versus gardening Instagram, and gardening Instagram is so much more supportive and friendly. I've literally made friends from that. Other than you, I don't know if I've made that many friends from hiking Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, you meet a lot of nice people out hiking, but it's when you're actually out doing it rather than
That's
online.
Right. But the community, which, you're not always on trail. If you are always on trail, the other exception would probably be Kevin. I feel like the people that you would hang out with who this is a big passion of theirs, who are Instagram people or Facebook personalities of the, it has just so much just things that piss me off.
Yeah.
So I find that really hard, and I feel like a lot of the stuff that I find objectionable is rewarded. So yeah,
because I often think about this, because I am getting less and less contact from hikers and people in general, just to be advice asking or feedback or whatever. But I kind of think, especially in this day and age where everything is so negative online, that no feedback is kind of good feedback. I don't really get any comments on the website that are very negative. I can't even remember the last time that was even remotely negative. So I'm assuming, maybe incorrectly, that people just enjoy the website. The numbers are still very good, which is just way beyond what I would imagine anyone ever caring about the trails to be. So I'm just assuming people enjoy it, take it on board, and then that's it. That's the end of the thing. There's no parasocial relationships happening with me. No one really knows who I am. I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
Occasionally someone might recognize me, but that's about it.
Yeah. I get a lot of negative feedback why you so woke? Why do you acknowledge the country?
Yeah, I feel like YouTube's probably worse. For
And
comments.
I go, you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad for your negative feedback because I'm not changing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a brave choice. Like, you did feature a bit more on your website in terms of photos of you and Alyssa and everyone, but going to YouTube and actually speaking into a camera is a big pivot in terms of being recognized.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I have been recognized a few times, but not hugely. You know, it happens, but not massively. You know, I still get to hike and fairly anonymously, and because I'm always like one of the first people out, I'm normally done before most people are doing their days. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, I had a bit of a moment. I volunteered at the Hike West gazebo for the Hyde Park Festival, and I was there, and my books were there as prizes and on the table, so everyone could have a look. No one knew who I was. So it was a very humbling moment. Oh yeah, and then like Dave Osborne was there as well, and he was like, "And this man wrote these books," and I was like, "Oh wow!" I'm like, "Okay, so you have no idea who I am." That's comforting in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Done over. Apologies that it's taken 3-4 months into 2026
Yep.
to get this episode
And
out.
I will try to commit to editing this quickly, but we'll see what happens.
Yes. But we do have the next one lined up pretty quickly, so hopefully you don't have to wait too long as well for the next episode.
Yeah, that's right.
And it should be a very good one.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode or any other episode of Real Trail Talk, then please rate us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on. Ratings really help us to reach an audience, especially those who are looking to learn about the outdoors in Western Australia and Australia in general. If you had any questions or suggestions for future episodes, you can email us at realtrailtalk@gmail.com.